You can't keep American people in the dark for profiting or for any reason that is harming our citizens.
Fracking is basically poisoning the earth to get something out. You're putting chemicals down there that shouldn't be down there. The earth's a living organism, you know?
We need a voice. We need to get together. We need to rise up and tell everybody that the industry has lied to us all.
Hey, we're here at Bethany College. This is the college that I attended. I grew up just down over the hill from here. This is really where I learned that I could start understanding like how everything in these woods, how everything in the water actually functioned. My background now is in microbiology. I worked for 16 years at the Hanford Nuclear Reservation in Richland, Washington, and that was 600 square miles, and they've been working for 50 years to try to clean that place up, and they haven't come close to it. This is 93,000 square miles. I just felt it like necessary to come back here and do whatever I can to help people become aware and what they can expect over this next couple of years. Probably a lot of you have heard of hydraulic or high-volume hydraulic slickwater fracturing, and you know what it is. I mean, taking millions of gallons of water and mixing it with chemical sand, putting it down in these formations under extreme pressure, fracking or cracking these formations, and up comes the resources magically from the bottom. All of these, you have to look at this as a whole system, and when you allow a pipeline to go across your lane, you have to know that the other end of that pipeline is connected to the extraction, the gas fields. And we just had a big explosion down in West Virginia. You know, it incinerated 3 homes and melted a highway.
I have lived here for over 30 years. This was all farmland. It was beautiful. The air was clean. The water was good. Until Ranger Resources came to my neighborhood. I am being poisoned by this refinery that is less than 1/8 of a mile away from me every single day, 24/7.
What part of clean burning is this when you consider natural gas? It's the plant right over there.
I have put concrete in my windows to try to buff this, and it does not work. I have had no running water in my house for 3 years because of Range Resources. When they did Little H1 behind my house, the DEP said that they fractured and contaminated my water well beyond usage.
Within 1 mile of these stations, within these well pads, there are toxic fumes coming off that we can experience, that can be monitored, that are directly correlated to the health of these people.
We have 28 gas wells within 1 mile of my home. They would dump stuff up there, and it just was billowing into the air. I had inflamed corneas, which I never had before. I didn't even know what it was. 3 days after they were done at this well site, my eyes felt better.
I've certainly heard people say out in the community, I was okay, and the gas drilling started in February of 2012, and I've had problems ever since.
Our throats like had the moisture just taken out of them. We have heavy legs. We have people with neurological problems. We have problems with skin rashes, lesions.
I kept like a little health journal, more for myself than anything else. I had blood in my mucus. I could smell burnt plastic, almost like a Play-Doh smell. I was also dizzy on this day with the smell. So bad I had to lay on the bedroom floor. My son had a stomach ache. My husband had blood from his nose. My ears were hurting, sore throat. My son threw up when he was playing outside. Son had sore throat. So this is weeks. So this isn't a cold. I mean, the list just goes on and on. It's like an invasion.
The health stuff, it's a concern because there are a lot of people that are saying, yes, we are having health effects.
The one doctor down here spoke out about it. She started to connect the dots and ask the questions. Okay, what do they all have in common? Where do they work and what are they exposed to? Well, guess what? They all had one thing in common. They all worked around a Marcellus Shale.
I live in Portage, Pennsylvania. I'm 49 years old, a truck driver. I've been a truck driver since '94. Took me 4 months on the gas wells to get this stuff in me, and it's been over a year now and didn't get it out, and nobody could tell me what it is or how's it come out or what it does. So I got it in my boots, traveled to my feet. It turns, this foot you see is actually swelled bigger than this one. This was the foot that got infected, but it turns red and rash, and then from my feet it just circulates. Since I got exposed, I got teeth snapped off. See? 4 times it's about killed me because it swells up my tongue so bad that I had to go flying down to the emergency room. I've been in the ER 11 times with this. You morph into something else.
Right now, he has been denied compensation. And the reason he has been denied compensation is that you must be able to show that your injury is work-related. So for almost a year, he has not received any type of compensation. So my job to be able to get him compensation is to be able to prove that the illness he has is as a direct result of his employment. Because no doctor has said that directly, the company at this point still has not changed their mind.
It's very tough because the second someone makes a claim or asks a question, they attack the messenger.
If I was a doctor and I wanted to treat a patient, I would say, you know, this patient is suffering from nosebleeds, and I don't understand what the gas drilling industry may or may not do if I try and link this to that. So I'm going to treat the nosebleeds, and I'm going to try and make this patient better, because that's my job. My job as a healthcare provider is to treat this patient. I'm not necessarily looking at it from the global perspective. I'm not necessarily trying to treat a population. I'm not a public health person. Let somebody else worry about whether or not it's related to gas drilling.
You okay?
I wish I was okay.
What we have here is a jar of drill cuttings that was taken off of a bottom of a tank of a truck. If we can find out what this, some of the material that's in here, we can at least tell some of these guys, what they're being exposed to, because people that are driving these trucks, they don't know. We're down here on our way to visit Dave and Linda Headley. This family has been impacted by the shale gas industry, exposure to radioactive compounds that have come up from these deep formations, these deep shale formations.
No, let me do it.
Adam, you stay away, buddy.
Adam, yeah.
I don't know.
I can't believe it's just burning like that.
Smile, Adam. You're on candid camera. Smile. Our 4-year-old son. This is the place he has to play.
I like to play.
You like to play, do you?
Yep.
You stay out of the water.
Why?
Because it's dangerous.
That's well water?
It's brine water.
This is a meter that you guys got. You bought it off the internet, about $150, and this will measure radiation.
Every one of the well sites tested radioactive, as well as the frac pits. If we were standing here when the pond was here, we'd have been in the middle of one of these ponds. There were 2 ponds here that held 1.2 million gallon apiece. The people from the dump wouldn't even accept the dumpsters. They weren't clean enough for them to accept, and Atlas wouldn't take them. They had no place to store them. So they're okay just 500 feet out of our front door, sitting on our front door. The dogs are out there drinking water out of it. The kids are out there playing around it. I mean, that was just awful upsetting to us to even know it was even there. And the air pollution, we've had our air tested. The toxins in the air are horrific. We understand that there's filters and stuff to filter the air. They refuse to put them on because they're $7,000 a month to put on. If that thing's spewing out $1,000 a month worth of product, they can surely afford a $7,000 filter to protect us and our kids. I mean, that's only fair. We've all seen health effects from it. The chronic cough is one of the things, and she has it really bad, but we all have a chronic cough and phlegm in your throat constantly.
The baby has he has stomach cramps that are unexplainable. We've had him to the doctor numerous times, and they just can't pinpoint it.
They tested him for leukemia, thinking it might be leukemia once we mentioned the fact that
We lived around gas wells.
Lived around the gas wells was one of the first things they tested for. They've luckily eliminated that, at least they think they have. But they tell us, that's one of the scary things to us, that's one thing they tell us is if there's one radioactive isotope stuck in his lung at his age, it can mature later in life and cause him leukemia later on. So it's scary, it's
and what
scary
these
stuff.
people don't realize too is, let them hold their baby when his stomach hurts and you can't stop him.
There's just no comfort to it.
There's something that's happening here that's changing this environment. Just above the student housing up here is a well pad that is basically 500 or 600 feet from student dormitories. And there's a potential of that well pad impacting the students that are living down below it.
Nothing is on there yet, but they are getting in motion and they're going very fast. Well, I started out 1.5 years ago taking samples with a pump.
So this is one of the things that we're trying to promote. It's like a science-based approach to collecting data sets that, first of all, are able to credibly monitor changes in environmental conditions. There will be effluents that come off this pad or could potentially come off this pad and then drain down into the forest. It's terrible to actually see all of this happening.
It's scary to me because I grew up in this town and my parents have grown up in this town, and it hits a sore spot because I want to someday have a family and raise them here, and it's going to be ruined.
They're totally affecting the whole ecosystem.
This is our whole community, our whole state we're fighting for here. We try to bring attention to it, and we just basically get ignored or giggled at.
It's been a nightmare. It's been every single day that I wake up, I have to deal with this. Just the disrespect is something that I can't even explain to somebody until they go through it.
The industry lies. They lie, deny, until they all die.
There's no question people should be relocated. They're industrial sites now. They are contaminated, and people should have a place to go.
1 mile exclusion zones. That's all. It's a reasonable suggestion. These people cannot afford to do it themselves. We have to help these people now.
Get the word out. Get the word out.